Hello everyone, Narutowearytvgaming here, and today guys is September 24th, 2024, and as you may know, today is my birthday, September 24th, 2024, and I'm 23 years old today. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you the gifts that I got, and then opening up some other gifts I haven't even found out what I gotten. So let's get to it, shall we? So we'll start off with the NES games I got. Yes, I do have an NES. So one of the games I got is Time Lord for the NES. Super Mario Bros. For the NES, the original one. 1942 by Capcom, looks like. Yeah. Mickey Mouse Scape. Or Mickey Mouse. Or Mickey Mouse Capade. Actually, I can't pronounce it. Chippendale Rescue Rangers, which is has seen some better days. Tetris, and a double pack that came probably on when they released the NES called Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. I remember playing Duck Hunt a lot as a kid though, but unfortunately, unless you have a CRT still sitting around in your home, you can't really play Duck Hunt anymore. Which I haven't even had one of those type of TVs in like 12 years. Yeah, like fortunately, not many people really want to have CRTs in their home anymore because they're big and bulky and people don't have much room for it, unfortunately. So essentially, unless if I get a CRT, then this cartridge would essentially be useless. So it'll just be playing Mario. So those are the NES games I got though, which for whatever reason I accidentally opened them up before I thought about doing this video because I was kind of an idiot. Because I haven't even done any videos since last year when I drank that Pepsi or Sprite for the first time in like 15 years. Next up though, got some two Super Nintendo games. The one here though I got is Terminator 2, the arcade game, or T2, the arcade game. If y'all remember that arcade shooter, which I think this game essentially did probably gotten a re-release of the actual arcade, by I think Arcade One Up, I think about a few years ago, which I heard that probably may no longer be in production, but I mean, I really hopefully they may re-release this again on some consoles probably because I mean it is a good shooter though because that should be coming back hopefully, but probably doubt it. And I didn't even realize that it was made by LJN, which made a lot of shitty movie license games back in the day. Which I'm glad they are out of business though, and hopefully they stay that way because that company really made a lot of bad games based on movie tie-ins. And this one here I'm very excited about. I never even knew this existed. Super Street Fighter Alpha 2 for Super Nintendo. Yes, there was a Super Nintendo version of this, which I think not many people even remember there is, or probably those that played the original game probably did heard of it. Though, which a lot, especially nowadays when Modern Vintage Gamer, I think is what the YouTube channel's name is called, where he made a video of like impossible port of this game, which, whatever. So yeah, I'm very excited to play this version here. I even played the arcade version of it back in the day. I even own it on, nowadays it's gotten re-released on the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Um, and here's a game that I've been wanting to get though, which essentially a lot of people are gonna know this is getting a re-release. The Punisher for Sega Genesis, which is basically the arcade version of it, but had some stuff cut out from the Sega Genesis version. And thing is, yes, there is. This game is the arcade version of this game, though. Actual arcade is getting a full conversion for the Marvel vs. Street Fighter Fighting Classic Edition, where it includes all the Marvel vs. Capcom games, which I've already pre-ordered it for Switch and PS4, and hopefully next year when they get the Xbox One version to come out, though, I will pre-order that, because during this time they didn't decide not to re-release Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection on Xbox One, and a lot of Xbox users were pissed off about it, where we probably thought it never would happen, though, because, I mean, if it never happened, I would say get the PC version, because that could potentially be the last time we were going to get that re-release ever again of any of those games. And next one, I got an Xbox One game, though, which is a game y'all probably might be familiar with, that is starting to be skyrocketing online a lot for like thousands, hundreds of dollars, because the license for the game expired. Deadpool. Yeah, like this game right here is becoming very expensive as hell now. I ended up got this from somebody for just $20, right at the time when the license expired, before prices started hijacking or started jacking up online, which I'm got super lucky on this. So Street Fighter on Xbox One. I mean, I still haven't got a chance to play it yet, but I really need to. And the next one up I got for PS4, it's Doom, the Classic Collection, which includes Doom 1, the original Doom, Doom 2, and Doom 3 for PS4 by Limited Run Games. Next one here, now I'm going to start unboxing some stuff. So I got a NES game here, which is made by Tengen, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Grab my scissors here. Hang on. These stuff right here really take forever to open up like this. Oh, another bag. So the game that I got here is Vindicators on the NES, which is made by Tengen, which looks like, obviously, like a Atari 2600 cartridge. Which makes sense, because this company was, I think, a subsidiary, if I'm pronouncing that right, of Atari. And the only cool thing about this game did actually come with the manual. This is like one of the only few handful of NES games that have now that came with manuals, which a lot of people essentially threw those out over the years. Unless if you want to include those reproduction ones, I guess, but those are not legit. But the original manuals that came with them originally, other than those repros of them, are essentially are no longer in existence almost. And it even came with the case too. Definitely might need to play that game someday. And next up, though, I even got some anime TV series that I think this had been re-released several times before, but no, I've never even heard of this show, called To Love Ru, which is the English dub of the complete series. I haven't even heard of this show ever. I first heard about this year, and people saying that I need to check it out, though, because they may never get re-released ever again, probably. Who knows? But yeah, got this To Love Ru series. And also, by the way, it's even in English dubbed. I don't know if they done that in a while, or if this is the first time they've done this. Who knows? Next up, I got a Sega Genesis game here that I've gotten, which some of y'all might remember the arcade version of this. Time Killer Arcade Classic, which is which this one right here, a lot of people consider to be the terrible version of a arcade conversion of Time Killer, which is a controversial like Mortal Kombat clone where you use chainsaws to do fatalities and stuff. I ended up getting the Sega Genesis version just to have though, because I'm trying to get a full set for the Sega Genesis. I already have all the Japanese and European Mega Drive exclusives, but the American Genesis set I'm still way far behind, so I'm trying to get them. But this case, y'all didn't know, this is a repro of it because the original copy of it is just super expensive online, so there's obviously no chance that almost anyone like myself is gonna try to get our hands on the original, on like the original copy of it. Wrapper off, really? And it has a sticker on it that says Sega on it. Go ahead and try to open that part up. Now, I'll just do that later. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's move on. Next up, I got some two Sega Genesis games. More like Sega Genesis games that I still haven't opened up. I mean, I did open a packet, but I haven't took them out of this. But you might have seen one of them through the bag, but anyway, let's just open it. So first game I got is Mortal Kombat 3. I have Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 for Sega Genesis, but I never even played the third. I mean, I played the third one, but I never owned the third one. It's no manual, but just the case and cartridge. So, Mortal Kombat 3, Sega Genesis. Next one up here, I got another one here. I'm going to try to be careful about open this one up very carefully, because this is, instead of it being like a clamshell case, it's like in a cardboard box case, and I don't really want to ruin it, because those are becoming more rare because a lot of people toss those out eventually, like the Super Nintendo cases, they're cardboards. Primal Rage, the Sega Genesis version. This is like a very cool, like, you know, fighting, like side fighting game that's like a clone of Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter at the very least, I think. Where this was like some arcade version of it where it was based on one of the earlier versions before it had bug fixes and had to censor some stuff, I think. Where they showed like on the Super Nintendo. I don't know, but I think the Super Nintendo version or the Jaguar CD version are probably like one of the better versions, I think. But I don't know how this one turns out. I just need to try it out one day and see how I like it. But yeah, Primal Rage for Sega Genesis. And now let's go ahead and open up some more packages, which I have a lot of to look at. I'll start off with this small one here, though, since it's right here in my way. Go ahead and open this up. Try to be careful. I don't want to damage anything. Oh, sweet. One of the games that I ordered a little while ago that finally came in on time. If I can open it. It's a Game Boy Advance game. Got Mother 3 for Game Boy Advance, which is a Japanese only release of, you know, Earthbound for Super Nintendo. That's a very rare game. Yeah, there is, yeah, for those that don't know or didn't or haven't known or haven't heard of it, there was a third Earthbound game, or Mother 3 as it's called in Japan, that never got a release here in the States. This was the final game that was ever released based on the Earthbound Mother series, which was only available on Game Boy Advance though, which this one right here is essentially is the fan translation of it in English. Yes, so for those that wanted to play it though, but lack the language of Japanese, being like, oh wait, can I play this version in English? Yes, you can. There are reproductions of it now that you can try to find online if you can find it, or through emulation, or do it through like an EverDrive for on the Game Boy Advance or the Easy Flash. You can. It is available. You can find it. So Mother 3 for Game Boy Advance. Next up, got another package. I got a Game Boy Color game called Nicktoons Racing. I don't even remember playing this one ever though, but I need to try it out. But whatever. Nicktoons Racing. I don't know how this game's gonna turn out, but yeah. Next one. a box within a bag. Alright, where's that scissors at? To be like another Game Boy Advance game, I can tell it is. Alright, next one I got is some 2 games on 1 cartridge of Scooby-Doo and Cyber Chase and Scooby Mystery Mayhem for Game Boy Advance. I don't know if it's any good or if they're any good or not, but I'm looking forward to checking it out. No. Next game I got for the original Game Boy, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. I don't know how this one holds up between like the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo version, but I'm looking forward to check this game out for the original Game Boy. Next up, I got is open this. Oh, sweet. Got the first Grand Theft Auto game for Game Boy Color, I think it is. Based on it being a black cartridge. Got the very first Grand Theft Auto game for Game Boy Color or original Game Boy. I don't know how this version turns out to be for compared to the PC and PS1 version, but I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Conker's Pocket Tales for Game Boy Color. If y'all remember Conker Bad Fur Day or Conker's Live and Reload remake of Conker's Bad Fur Day on Xbox. I think this was probably the last Conker's game that was released on Rare on a Nintendo system before they switched on to Microsoft with the Xbox. Well, sweet. Another repro. And also, like with Mother 3 fan translation and Game Boy Advance, there's also a re-release of Mother 1 and 2 on which is based on the original NES Earthbound or Mother game, and then the Earthbound 2 or Mother 2 that was on Super Nintendo. Fan translation of this as well if you want to check it out. Like Mother 3. Next up, I got looks like some Game Boy game. Alright, I'm not gonna open it right now because it'd be a pain to open it. Which is a Terminator 2 arcade game on Game Boy, which is probably the worst one compared to all the other ones, of it being a conversion of the arcade Terminator 2 game rail shooting game on a Game Boy. Oh yeah, I think Angry Video Game Nerd probably did a review of Terminator 2 on it based on the arcade game and talked about it being on Game Boy, I think, I remember. Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed game on Game Boy Advance, which is based on the Scooby-Doo 2 movie with Matthew Lillard and Freddie Prinze Jr., I think his name is, played Fred. I think the rest of these are going to be like Game Boy related stuff. And opening up, I'm pretty sure. Next up is Kirby's Dream Land. I think this is the first Kirby's game that ever existed that started it all. And I think the creator of it probably didn't realize or that he was supposed to be pink instead of being white. Yeah. I wonder how this game it should be. I heard that game was pretty good. I just need to try it out. Next up, I got a Japanese Game Boy Color game, which I can't really read though, but if you recognize a picture and the name of it, feel free to translate it for me in the comments down below of what the name of the game is, because I'd really like to know what the name of it is. So yeah, again, if you recognize the name of this game or can read Japanese, feel free to put it in the comments down below if you can read it. Got like several more gifts left to show you. A bag within a bag. Those are, I think those are like old memes, I believe. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 2 on Game Boy Color. So these are like the first two Grand Theft Auto games that started them all before they went on with Grand Theft Auto 3, where it's third person, where it's like top view type game. And next up, I got a it's an NES game, another NES game. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game on NES. If y'all remember that arcade game, I think this is what it's based on. I heard it's supposed to be good, and oh shit. Even the sleeve is apparently damaged, but I probably have spare ones laying around I can use. So, yeah. Alright, next up. Oh, sweet. Sonic Advance 2 and 3 on Game Boy Advance. Pretty cool to have Sonic games on a Game Boy Advance. Oh yeah, I think, yeah. By the way, these are imports from Japan. Next up, the what the? What in the world? Resident Evil on original Game Boy. I had no idea that Capcom made the first Resident Evil game on an original Game Boy. I don't know. Weird. The first Resident Evil game that started all that was on PS1 and Saturn to be released on a Game Boy. Didn't know that. Next one up. Oh wow, paper. The Flintstones Big Trouble in Bedrock. I heard this game's pretty good. Looking forward to playing it. Alright. There's a few more left. 3 more left. Super Mario Brothers Deluxe, based on the first Super Mario Brothers game, on now been converted to Game Boy Color, which I heard this version probably maybe the better one, or probably I heard some people say it's terrible because of the screen crunching, which I remember seeing. So maybe I'll give this one a try. Hopefully it's a good version of it, if anyone knows. Oh, Super Mario Super Circuit on Game Boy Advance. I know I played this one a lot when I was a kid, and it's a very good game that should be getting checked out. And next up, oh sweet. So I guess the first Sonic Advance game on Game Boy Advance. I think I did hear that Sonic Advance was probably the first Sonic game to be released not on a Sega hardware after the Dreamcast was discontinued. I think. Alright, there's 2 more gifts left. Sweet. The Avenged Sevenfold sounding the 7th trumpet. Avenged Sevenfold's first album that ever came out in 2001, where it was metalcore before Matt Shadow or M Shadow ended up switched on from screaming to singing because him having throat surgery. which is a common thing back in the 2000s, where people damage their vocal cords from screaming a lot. And there is one more left. Shit. Trying not to cut myself. Last thing I got here that I'm going to show you, it looks like a reproduction, NES game, Gunhawk. I didn't know that they had a repro of this, or a fan-made version of a game, I think. I mean, I don't know if it's any good or not, but be worth checking out. More worth me checking out, see how great it is. But yep, so I got Gunhawk of a fan-made homebrew game. Or yeah, actually it is homebrew. It says it right there. For NES. Well, that's it for everything, guys, for my birthday gifts. Oh yeah, there is one more. I forgot that there is one more gift though, but this one here, that's a mystery. I'll be showing that in another video. Though, because I want to do a review of this. So, I mean, I know I'm sure a lot of you would be like, I mean, since you're already opening up gifts, then could you not just open it? I'm like, yes, but I want to do a review on this item. So, you'll see that in a future video. But anyways, guys, that's all my birthday gifts I got for my birthday in 2024, September 24th. So, hopefully, if you guys want to see more videos from me, make sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. So hopefully y'all have a good rest of y'all's day and enjoy life. Peace.